Hello friends. Today we discuss about some example exercise 17 and 18. Here our first question is exercise 17. A. Figure shows a cross section of light pipe made of a glass fiber of refractive index 1.68. The outer covering of the pipe is made of a material of refractive index 1.44. What is the range of the angle of incident with the axis of the pipe for which total reflection inside the pipe take place as shown in figure? And B. What is the answer if there is no outer covering of a pipe? Friends, yesterday we studied that optical fiber consists core and cladding, right? So here light pipe made of a glass fiber of refractive index 1.68. So here the inner side has refractive index 1.68 and the outer side made of a material of refractive index 1.44. So cladding have refractive index 1.44. Right. Yesterday we studied that core has higher reflective index than cladding. Right. Okay. Now here the given data is for A. N1 is equals to 1.68 and N2 is 1.44, right? What is the range of angle of incident? So we have to find out the range of the angle of incident, right? Now you can see here we have to find out the angle of incident or range of the angle of incident. So here angle of incident is in the air. You can see that this is the medium of air. Now the ray of light passing from the ray to a light pipe, right? So here air is our first medium and light pipe is our second medium, right? So theta 1 is I and theta 2 is R. We have to find out I, but we don't know the value of R. So first of all we have to find out the value of R, right? Okay. So first of all, to find out I, we have to find out R. So to find out R, here the ray is incident with normal at here some angle. So here the ray is reflected in same medium. So this is our angle which is greater than critical angle. Here, right? Okay. So this is IC. If this is IC, then this angle also IC. See here, this is Z, right? So here this angle, if this angle is IC, then this angle is also IC. So to find out R, we have to subtract IC from 90, right? So first of all, we have to find out the value of R. To find out value of R, we have to find out IC, right? Okay. Now to find out the value of IC here at point this. So to find out IC, we can say that here this is first medium of core, whose refractive index is N1, and another medium is cladding, whose reflective index is N2. So here at this point we apply Snell's law. We know that N1 sin theta 1 is equals to N2 sin theta 2, right? So we know that if the angle of incident is critical angle, then the angle of refraction is 90, right? So here theta 1 is IC and theta 2 is 90, right? Okay, so here we use Snell's law, so we can write that N1 sin theta 1, value of theta 1 is IC, is equals to N2 sin theta 2, 90, right? So here we know the value of N1, 1.68, sin IC is equals to N2, 1.44, sin 91. So we have to find out sin IC. Then sin IC is equals to 1.44 upon 1.68, right? So 1.44 divided by 1.68, we get 0.8571. So friends, the value of sin IC is 0.8571. We have to find out IC. So we can write that IC is equals to sin inverse 0.8571, right? So from the natural sign we can find out IC. So we find that IC is equals to 59 degree. So here we get IC is equals to IC is equals to sin inverse 0.8571. So from the natural sign we get IC is equals to 59 degree, right? Now we know that if the angle of incidence is greater than critical angle, then total internal reflection occurs. So we can say that if I greater than IC, then total internal reflection, right, occurs. Hence we can say that I is greater than 59 degree. So we can say that refraction angle, hence we can say that refraction angle R is less than R maximum, right? So R maximum is, we know we have to subtract IC from 90, right? So R max is equals to 90 minus IC. So 90 minus 59, which is 31 degree, right? But friends, we have to find out the value of range of angle of incidence, right? So for that we have to again use Snell's law. So from Snell's law, again see this figure, we have to find out I. So I is in the medium of air, so this is N1, but we know refractive index of air is 1. Theta 1 is I, but we can write I maximum, right? for range, is equals to N2. This is the inner part of the light pipe, which is N2, right? Sin theta 2. Theta 2 is R maximum. But here we have to deal with the N2, right? But here I say N2 is the inner material of light pipe, right? So we can say that this is N1, because here we assume that N1 is equals to 1.68, right? So here we can write from this Snell's law, sine, here we don't consider the refractive index of air because we know refractive index of air is 1. So sine theta 1 I maximum is equals to N1 sine R maximum, right? So we can write that. So from the Snell's law, sine I max is equals to N1 sine R max. So sine I max, we know N1 1.68 into sine R max, sine 31. So from the natural sine we can find out sine 31. So 1.68 into value of sine 31 is 0.5150. So we can get sine I max is equals to 0.8662, right? Again, from the natural sine we have to find out I max. So I max is equals to sine inverse 0.8662, which is 60 degree. So we can say that the angle less than 60 degree, I repeat, the ray enters the angle which is less than 60 degree with the axis of cylinder, will perform total internal reflection, right? So we can write that rays enter at 0 less than I less than 60 degree with axis of cylinder perform total internal reflection, right? Okay, now we calculate for B, right? Now for B, what is the answer if there is no outer covering of pipe? See, in the first case there will be outer covering whose refractive index is 1.44, right? Now in B there is no outer covering. If there is no outer covering, then we can say that there is a medium of air. So we have to take N1 is 1.68 but N2 1. So we again use this formula, N1 sine IC is equals to N2 sine 90. But we know that value of N2 1, sine 90 1. So directly we can say that N1 sine IC is equals to 1, right? So we can write that. Once again I repeat it. Here for B there will be a no outer covering medium, so we have to take N1 1.68 but N2 1. So from this equation N1 sine IC is equals to n21 sine 91. So we can say that n1 sine IC is equals to 1, right? So we can write that. So n1 sine IC is equals to 1. So that sine IC is equals to 1 upon n1. 1 upon n1 1.68. So sine IC is equals to 1 upon 1.68. So we get 0.5952. So IC is equals to sine inverse 0.5952. So we get IC is equals to, from natural sine, 36.5 degree. Right. Okay. But friends, we have to find out the angle of incident. So for angle of incident, here, see here, if there is no outer surface, so to find out angle of incident, here or here, right? So we have to find out angle of incident. For that we have to subtract IC from 90. So we can easily get the angle of incident, right? So to find out angle of incident, we have to subtract IC from 90, right? So for angle of incident, I dash is equals to 90 minus IC. So 90 degree minus 36.5 degree. So we get 53.5 degree. So here angle of incident is greater than IC, right? So we can say that thus I dash is greater than IC. Hence all rays perform total internal deflection. So we can say that thus I dash greater than IC, hence 0 less than I less than 90 degree. So all rays perform total internal reflex, right? Okay. Now our next example number 18. Answer the following questions. A. You have learned that plane and convex mirror produce virtual image of object. Can they produce real image under some circumstances? Explain. B. A virtual image, we always say, cannot be caught on a screen, yet when we see a virtual image, we are obviously bringing it on to the screen of our eye. Is there a contradiction? C. A diver underwater looks obliquely at a fisherman standing on the bank of lake. Would the fisherman look taller or shorter to the diver than what he actually is? D. Does the apparent depth of a tank of water change if viewed obliquely? If so, does the apparent depth increase or decrease? And our last E. The refractive index of diamond is much greater than that of ordinary glass. Is this fact of some use to a diamond cutter? Okay. So we have to answer this 5 questions, right? So friends, here our first question. See here. Okay. You have learned that plane and convex mirror produce virtual image of object. Can they produce real image under some circumstances? Explain. We know that when we place object behind plane mirror or convex mirror, the ray coming out through refraction of mirror will intersect at a point in front of mirror, right? So we know that these things. So if the object is virtual, then by plane or convex mirror we can get a real image, right? Once again I repeat, when object is placed behind plane or convex mirror, the rays coming out through reflection of mirror will intersect at a point in front of mirror. So we can say that if the object is virtual, then by plane or convex mirror real image can be obtained, right? So in short we can say that if the object is real, so by using plane or convex mirror we can get virtual image. But it's if we invert this sentence, we use plane or convex mirror, if object is virtual, then we can get a real image of the object, right? So we can say that in short and sweet language, if the object is virtual, then by plane or convex mirror real image can be obtained. So the answer of our first question is like this: if the object is virtual, then by plane or convex mirror real image can be obtained, right? Okay. Now second, a virtual image we always say cannot be caught on a screen, yet when we see a virtual image we are obviously bringing it on to the screen of our eye. Is there a contradiction? So we can say there is no contradiction, because we know that the virtual image we cannot caught it on a screen. But you already studied in your standard 10 that for eye virtual image works as a object, so it gives a real image, right? So the answer is here there will be a no contradiction, because we know that virtual image cannot be caught on a screen, but for eye virtual image works as a object, so we can get real image by use of eye, right? Now for C, a diver underwater looks obliquely at a fisherman standing on bank of a lake. Would the fisherman look taller or shorter to the diver than what he actually is, right? So here friends, the diver is under water and the diver is observe a fisherman which is standing on a bank of land. So here there are two mediums. First medium is water and second medium is air. So the diver is under water and diver is observer, right? So the observer or diver is in a denser medium, right? This observer see a fisherman which is in the air. So air is a rarer medium. So observer is seeing from denser medium to rarer medium. We know that if ray of light from denser medium to rarer medium, then this ray of light moves away from normal, right? So if this ray of light moves away from the normal, then we can say that the observer observes fisherman is taller, right? So here we can see this by from the figure. See here for C. So for C the condition is like this. This is the river, like this river or lake or etc. Here this is observer, right? This observer sees a fisherman. Suppose this is the fisherman, right? Okay. Now here the ray is like this. Yes, we know this is the normal. We know that here the ray is from denser to rarer, then it go away from normal. But when the observer see a ray is like this, right? So this is the apparent position, right? So this is fisherman F and this is his apparent position F dash. So this is original height H and this is imaginary height H dash. So the answer is taller, right? So we can write that like this. Here the observer is in a medium of water and the fisherman is in the medium of air. So here the ray of light is from denser medium to rarer medium. So we know that if ray of light moves from denser medium to rarer medium, it moves away from the normal, right? We can say that like, okay. So the fisherman look taller to the observer, right? Okay. Now D. Does the apparent depth of a tank of water change if viewed obliquely? If so, does the apparent depth is increase or decrease? We know the apparent depth is decrease from the real and apparent depth theory, right? We already discussed the theory, right? So directly we can say that the viewer or the observer, so the apparent depth is decreases, right? Okay. Now last case. The refractive index of diamond is much greater than that of ordinary glass. Is this fact of some use to a diamond cutter? Friends, we know the value of refractive index of diamond is 2.42 and the refractive index of glass is 1.5. So friends, we can tell that the refractive index of diamond is greater than refractive index of ordinary glass. So we can say that the critical angle of diamond is much more than that of normal glass. right? So we know that here the critical angle for diamond is less, so we can say that total internal reflection occurs. So due to total internal reflection, the diamond gives a sparkling effect, right? Okay, once again I repeat, refractive index of diamond is 2.42, refractive index of glass is 1.5. So here refractive index of diamond is greater than of normal glass. So the critical angle of diamond is much less than that of glass, right? We know the value 24, right? Okay, so here the critical angle is much less, so total internal reflection occurs, and we know that due to total internal reflection, diamonds gives a sparkling effect, right? Okay, thank you.